All right, everyone, we start off today talking about Biden dropping out yet again because the legacy media is currently upset at Joe Biden, I think, because he showed his dementia on live stage and they can no longer really circle wagons for him. They helped him for years by saying it was a conspiracy theory to suggest that he had anything other than a stutter. And while he's older, so, he tripped a couple times, but here's a video of Donald Trump, half jogging down an icy ramp. So this is clearly evidence of an equivalency here. They're mad at him. And so they keep speculating about him dropping out. He has said 4 or 5 times over the last week, he ain't going anywhere. And yet I still see people saying it's going to be Michelle Obama out of nowhere. It's going to be Gavin Newsom. It's going to be Kamala. They're still trying to astroturf her. Boy, what a shit show that would be. Ultimately, the Democrats are being wrong when they're calling for Biden to drop out. I'm giving you free advice that you don't deserve. Biden is the person to go with simply because he has the incumbency and because at this point, dropping him out of the race would be a goddamn freak show. There is no precedent for it. It would be a political disaster, and you would lose the election. You have a better chance, ironically, by sticking with Biden than you do by shuffling him off stage, because it'll be so obtuse. We're in the middle of July. We're moving through summer quite quickly. In the state of Vermont, it's only another month and a half long, basically. Who exactly are you supposed to replace him with? I keep asking this question. I get these various answers, but here's the problem. Gavin Newsom shows no interest currently. I'm sure that he has presidential ambitions, but he's not willing to butt in during this current election. He has stood down completely. Michelle Obama is uninterested in running. She has stated this multiple times in public and in private, by the way, including in O'Keefe's little expose there several months ago. It was confirmed that Michelle Obama disdained the concept of running for the presidency after what happened to Obama. And I have a feeling that it's partially racial. Like Obama gets in there, he's the big man, he's the commander-in-chief, but he knows that some of those old white Democrats behind his back really don't like him because he happens to be a person of color. And I can believe it totally. I almost feel sorry for the bastard because having to deal with that, Elizabeth Warren, making jokes behind your back must not be very fun. With Whitmer, some people say her, or Hochul, they show no inclination towards running. And Kamala has decided to circle wagons for Biden and says, no, he's not going anywhere. I'm going to be his running mate. Everything's fine. I have no problem. This is about beating Donald Trump. That's because she knows she can't get elected on her own. She's being pragmatic, actually, which is something that we don't always see from her. Biden is not dropping out. Although it would be spectacularly funny, and although political chaos is good personally for me because it gives me something interesting to talk about, he's not going anywhere. Link in the description, archived of course. Once again, he's reiterating, only an act of God would get me to drop out of this race. He's going to fundraisers, he's, at least sporadically, holding rallies. His proxies are rallying for him, etc., etc., etc. Is the man fit to run? No, he is not. He's very low energy. He is finding difficulty gaining any traction with undecided voters. He's demented, that is meaningful, etc., etc., etc. It's not just a stutter. It's not just, hey, he happens to be old. It's he's fucking falling apart. Is he fit to serve in the office of the presidency? No. The Democrats that are more ideological are fundamentally correct when they say, look, this dude needs to stand aside. He can't do his job. You are correct, but you're not being political pragmatists. And there's a difference between an ideologue and a pragmatist. You're operating from an ethical perspective. That's fine. Joe Biden doesn't have ethics. Joe Biden has ego. That's the whole thing. It's sort of like if people wanted Trump to stand down. There were many Republicans that said, we don't want you running again. What did he choose to do? He ran anyway, and he won. He is the presumptive Republican nominee. Now, in Trump's case, of course, the issue wasn't dementia. The issue was TDS sufferers saying, well, you lost last time around, you can't win this time. If you believe in election rigging, they're going to do it again. I would say that they would do that to any candidate they would actually conceive of wanting to vote for because It's the ideology that they dislike. It's not Donald Trump on a personal level. It's what he stands for. It's the principles behind why he's running. So if you got another Republican that actually held to those same principles, they do the same thing for them. That's why I never understood like the really, really hardcore DeSantis fans when they said, well, they'll just rig the election again. We must go with the pragmatic nominee. Well, if you think that he's going to stand for the same principles, why wouldn't they do the same thing to him? It doesn't make any sense. It never made sense, the argument that they were making. Now, the news cycle will continue to spin the concept of Joe Biden dropping out, and I think that they're trying to pressure him into doing so. That would be a terrible idea. Again, we're going to step back from our bias, from our political bias. We're putting that aside. I wear it on my sleeve. I admit to my bias. I have populistic bias. I have classically liberal/libertarian bias. And certainly, at least in the current political climate, and this could change in the future, I have a bias towards the GOP, most of them, over most Democrats. There are exceptions, of course. That is true. We're going to put that aside. I'm now arguing as a Democratic political pragmatist. I simply want to win the election. I don't have any further concerns. I've just got a D after my name. That's all I care about. It's like watching a fucking football game. Which one do you want to go with? The person who did manage to win, and you believe it if you're a Democrat probably, win before, he's got the incumbency, and sometimes he's coherent. Or do you want to cycle him out for someone who tens of millions of primary voters did not vote for? So Kamala Harris, okay, that's a little bit better, ironically. I know, that's, hell has frozen over when I'm saying something like that. That's a little bit better. You could invert the ticket. Yeah, she's the vice president, and so you can say, well, kind of, sort of has incumbency, right? That kind of gives her an advantage, correct? I would argue that Trump has the same advantage being a president from the 2016 era. But you don't win. Kamala Harris is not capable of debating Trump. We saw the performance from Biden. Kamala would probably manage to do worse. She's not likable. She's also basically just in the background of the administration. I think that while she would love to be the president of the United States, she's just pragmatic enough, has just enough self-awareness to know that it's not going to happen. And so the only thing she can do is stand behind her man, quite literally. Jill Biden is probably upset about this fact. I don't think that Jill allows them to be alone in the same room together because she knows what Joe Biden has a tendency to do around the females. Whitmer loses. Hochul loses. Newsom loses. Michelle Obama refuses categorically to run for the office. I know that a lot of people have it in their minds that Michelle Obama secretly, she's like a Palpatine. She's just pretending not to want that power. I don't think so. I think she's being genuine. I would be surprised. I'd be willing to bet $1,000 right now, if I were a betting man, that Michelle Obama will never run for political office of any kind. I don't think that she's interested in it. She's got hers. Former president, a respected liberal husband. She got all the money and all of that stuff, and the kids have gone off to their thing. So she's like, hey, sit on the beach and eat a fucking pineapple. This is great compared to what I had to do in the White House with all of these staunch, upright white liberals speaking about me behind my back. Don't think she's interested. Biden is not dropping out. That is categorically true. He has said it multiple times. If he dies, or if he's truly incapacitated, so not ground down and obviously aging, but the liberals are like, I'm nervous about this, but I can circle the wagons. But like literally incapacitated, like he has a stroke, he's in a fucking coma or something like that, then he gets shuffled out of necessity. Otherwise, he's staying in. He's going to be the Democratic nominee, and he will probably lose the election in a crushing defeat. That's about all. Peace out.